And here we are, Sisters of the Mystical Tarot. I'm Val with Dragonfly Crystals, here with my amazing co-hosts, Aley, Alice, Hearts and Soul Connected, Marina, Heart-Centered Tarot, and Shari, Voices from the Swamp. My beautiful sisters and I are here today to talk about what's holding you back. This is a bigger question than you could even imagine.
Yes.
We were talking backstage, right, ladies?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What is holding you back? There are so many layers and levels to this. It's a human, let's just say we're designed so that we have things that hold us back.
Sometimes that's a good thing too.
Sometimes it protects you. Yeah, it does. Yep.
So with that in mind, you know, there are a lot of components to that, but I'll leave mine to the end. And I'm going to, first of all, say hi to everyone who's here. And thank you so much for being here.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, Mary and Anna, Miss Cheryl, Dawn, Mangled Unicorn.
That's great. Yeah.
Mangled Unicorn. That's a new name. I love that. That's great.
And Maureen, good to see you here.
Mm-hmm.
More
yeah. Thank you for being here. Don't forget to
Carol's
like, share, and subscribe.
Carol.
Hey, Carol.
Hi. So, so as we are talking about this subject, I just want you all to know that today is 111 here in Henderson, Nevada. Not the temperature you can go out and look at paint
Thank
chips.
God I don't live in the desert anymore.
Go to Home Depot, you don't want to look at paint chips. Or actually, we go to Dunn Edwards paint store to do it. But it's just, you can't be out there. My husband had to get up super early and go to the store because we melt. You know, thank goodness he went for me. He kindly did it, and it's my normal job. So, you know, I hope it's not that hot where you all are.
No, 67
and light. It's been raining every day for a week, so we've been in like the upper 70s for several days, which is unheard of down here in the June. I mean, middle of June. So, but it's humid as hell. You walk outside and feel like you need a bath.
Marina, how hot is it where you are?
Well, we are 24 Celsius, which let me see if I can find my little card here that might tell you.
In
the 70s.
Oh man, I am the only one in the oven. I am in the heat.
You're the hottest and I'm the coolest. I'm 67 in rain.
Oh my God, 67 is my favorite temperature in the world.
Oh really? It's wonderful.
You can walk around, you can breathe.
Yes.
I love the mid 70s because it's warm enough I can wear a t-shirt and shorts, but it's cool enough that I'm not sweating buckets 10 minutes after I walk out the door, or 10 seconds as it is when you live in the desert.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember those days in Phoenix. It was like, oh my God.
Yeah, for sure. And I just
want to tell people the heat is not the same.
No. I just want to say hi to Don Turner, Karen Davis, who I said hi to Dawn before, and Coyote Rosenbaum, Linda.
Hey, Linda.
Dawn, let's see, Dawn Turner. I keep saying Dawn. Dawn,
hi.
I like to say your name a lot. And Gray, hello. And X of Swords. No, 10 of Swords.
10 of Swords.
You say 10 of Swords. I said that the other day.
Well, it has an X, so no one can blame
it. Has an X, but it's 10 of Swords.
We don't normally convert everything we see into Roman numerals.
Yeah, I wasn't converting. So Carol says it's 102 in the high desert. Yeah.
Oof.
When it gets higher, sometimes it's actually cooler, but it just depends. So we're going to talk about, hi, Garnet. Good to see you. So,
I remember my first haboob, and I was like, it chased me home. I got home minutes before it hit. And I called my mother because it was the first sandstorm I'd ever been in. And I called my mother and was like, it's just like the movie The Mummy. Oh my God, it's like a wall of sand coming at you.
We have these dust devils that you can just see like little mini tornadoes here.
Yeah.
And that reminds me of that. But hi, Edward. Good to see you.
And
You know, so we're going to start with Aley on this.
Of
What
course
is
we are.
holding you back? And I mean, what things can hold you back? You know, you can talk about yourself personally or talk about whatever you want. Things you know hold people back, whatever that may be.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Aley. Take it
Well,
away.
and somebody else said in the chat that fear of either failure or success, and because they can be just as disabling. If you know, if you don't think you want to move forward because you're not going to do all right, and then that's paralyzing. But if you also think that you're going to don't want to move forward because you could become too successful, then you don't have any free time, you know, or you have more responsibilities, or you have more things going on in your life. I like to think I step into it. Sometimes though, I step into shit and my shoes get completely inundated.
Yeah.
But and sometimes I don't learn. And so yeah. But I would say some things that don't get me moving forward personally might be, how much is it going to cost? I think that's it. That's the bottom line for me, because I have made all these chiropractic offices for like 4 or 5 times, and every time I've lost money. So it's like I don't want to jump into that again. So that's kind of the way that goes. But and why don't I move forward and retire? I was all ready to do that. And a lot of things changed. And it's very interesting that some of my friends on Facebook told me, and they're like 10 or 12 years younger than I am, that they just have been laid off. Everybody's getting laid off. And it's kind of a scary situation with that. So why I won't move forward yet, quitting my job, is for that very reason. So I think I have good reason, but not always. Not always. You know?
Yeah, the economic uncertainty is certainly a logical reason for not ending your income stream. Hello.
Yeah. And you know, I've always gone right for it, like with this you know, it's like an Ozempic. It's the generic for Ozempic, and I've had very good success with that. The only thing that stopped me from moving forward was I had to pay for it, and it's expensive, but it isn't $1,200. And so that has been that I can move forward with that as long as I don't have to pay that whole huge amount. But you know, I think I've been good about, I've done that, and I've done other things that a lot of people would go, oh, I could never do that, you know. And it's not that they're illegal or immoral or any of those things, but a lot of people are afraid to try something new that might work for them.
Absolutely. That's a huge thing that holds people back, is fear of the unknown.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And a lot of people don't like change, so they won't move because things will change. Yeah,
exactly. Well, thank you, Aley, for sharing.
You're welcome. Sure.
It's very helpful for everyone. And Shari, we're going to go to you.
I think my top fear is probably fear of failure, of being laughed at, because I just make a complete mess of it. And that stems from childhood issues of very low self-esteem. It's taken me decades to kind of get past a lot of that, but it still creeps up on me. Money, as Aley was saying, that's probably one of the biggest things that holds me back, as I look at it and think, yeah, no, I just don't have the money for that. You know, I mean, maybe I've got that much money socked away in my savings, but it's like, if I save it, something's going to break. If I spend it, something's going to break down, and then I'm not going to have the money for it. So that's usually the two biggest things, is just that fear of failure, of being laughed at because I can't do it. And the money, I'd say for many years, it was always the fear of not being smart enough. I mean, I'm not a stupid person. I'm not the most intelligent person in the world, but I'm not stupid either, you know. And it's a lot of times it was that fear of kind of like biting off more than you can chew, you know, getting in over your head a little bit, just because other people in the room are smarter than you. Not that they look down on you, but it's just that's just the way it is. And some people are not nearly as smart as you, so you got to learn to balance it out, right? I think a fear of overloading myself. I tend to, and this has always been a bad habit of mine, of I have a hard time saying no to people. And so I tend to overload myself until I'm at the breaking point.
On that fear because you overload yourself like crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say no because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, or I don't want them to think that
one fear
I don't want to spend time.
One fear is working against the other.
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly, exactly, and they do that, and I think another one of my biggest fears is fear of being left alone. You know, it's like just not having anyone, you know, no one to care for you, no one to spend time with you, no one to talk to. And that stems from the low self-esteem, you know. So
and the loss of your husband, huh?
And the loss of my husband. Yeah. It's like when Lewis had that heart attack one of the first things I said to him in the hospital was, you can't do this to me. You're all I got left.
Yeah.
Your daddy done left. Now you got to get your shit together because, you know, I can't handle it.
Don't die.
No more heart attacks.
That's right.
He's been having a medical issue for the last couple of months. Mm-hmm. And when he went in to go check on his Medicaid and stuff to make an appointment, the system kept telling him he didn't exist. He wasn't in there. And so he was freaking out thinking, oh my God, I've lost my Medicaid. What am I going to do? I can't afford the medication. I can't afford even a doctor's visit. And so the issue got so bad that he finally, a friend of his said, no, come on, we're going to urgent care. And whatever it costs, we'll figure it out between the two of us. Right. And so they went and they put in his numbers and they're like, oh yes, sir, you're right here. No problem. You know, and he was using an old website to go in and check, and he didn't realize they had changed to a new website. And so when he got home and he put in the new website, bing, everything was right there. And so I was like, oh, thank God, because all I could think of was, how much is that going to cost? Because he would have had to have reapplied. And that's, right now, you don't want to be in that position because they're turning everybody away. I mean, we bated breath that they're going to cut everybody off any minute anyway. So it's that fear of the unknown, like Aley was saying, of not quite knowing. You can't quite kind of figure out where it's going to lead you. So you're completely in the dark on something. And I mean, that's something personally that with shadow work that I've been working on for myself, but even with other things or with other people, it's the same thing. It's, you know, that not knowing. And I think that's why so many people love to get readings and stuff, because they want that reassurance of what's going to happen, because that fear of the unknown holds them back. They don't go for that interview, or they don't accept a date with this new person that kind of came out of the blue, you know, and stuff like that.
They're afraid they don't know their type, or they don't know them, or they're so
right. You know, it's like, and I've had people say, well, what if he's like a psycho murderer or something? And
well,
I'm like, yeah, that's not going to happen, you know. But people have real fears like that, you know.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, taking a risk. Fear of taking
taking that risk. Yeah. So those are my big ones and there's a gazillion little ones that we're just not even going to go into, but those are the big ones that I have, you know. So
those are human reasons, you know. That's what we're here kind of exploring today, is what's holding you back. Those of you who have just come in, what's holding you back? And there are so many aspects of you as a human being, the shadow side, holding you back in so many arenas of your life. And just taking a moment to look into that. Is it not? Sometimes it's not as clear as one might think, and maybe it's multiple things. Yes. So exactly. Marina, take it away.
Woohoo! It's your turn.
Actually, I have no fears. No. But yeah, I think my biggest one that I worked really, really hard to overcome, and that was the fear of judgment.
Yeah.
I didn't. I was brought up with an environment that you don't start arguments, you don't talk back to people, you're polite, you're this, you're that, so that I never really found my voice when I was younger, and everything was always filtered through what will people say, what will people think. And that kind of it held me back quite a bit, because it was that and like Shari said, saying no. Oh, that was painful, because I had to be of service.
You were censoring yourself from speaking your authentic self, which we all go through that period.
Yes.
We all do that. It isn't just, it's like a phase of us going through. Oh, well, I can't say that because.
Yeah, exactly. And what if I say no to someone asking me to do something? What if they can't find someone else to help them? What if something bad happens to them? How am I going to feel because I said no when I should have said yes, and all that?
Oh God, you're reading my book now.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's like guilt and responsibility for others.
Everything.
When you really
I like what Hypnicity said. People pleasing has been a constant in my life.
Yes.
Yeah.
People pleasing.
Totally. So it took a good bit of work and kind of even spirit coming in and kind of needling me and pushing me, oh, you'll tolerate that? Here's a little more.
That's exactly what they do. They
oh God.
They finally explode and say none of it. Get away.
Exactly. Right. And then that it was making a conscious decision that here's a situation, I'm not going to tolerate it, I'm going to say no.
Yes.
And if I get judged, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
If this happens or that happens, if I lose some friends, that's fine.
So be it.
So be it. Go forward.
Yeah.
And it was amazing how quickly, once I got to that point and could say that and did
you were liberated.
Yes.
You liberated yourself.
Yes. It's like, see, okay, all right. So all the things that I had feared that would happen never materialized. Never happened.
I love the other side of seeing what it looks like back, that all those ideas and thoughts and fears that we have about what will occur if we don't go the social norm or whatever. And none of it ever, usually it doesn't occur. It's just in our minds. It's this thing holding us back.
Yes, totally. We do tend to blow things out of proportion for ourselves. And yet we would be the first ones, if someone approached us with a problem, we would be the first ones to say, okay, calm down. It's not that bad.
Right.
Let's
work through it.
Let's work through it. Let's do this. Let's do that. It's like, physician, heal thyself.
Yes, it's true.
I was just thinking that.
It's true.
We need to take our own advice, and it feels authentic. It feels good.
Yeah.
There are still times when, I kind of teeter.
Yeah.
Well, how about this or how about that? But for the most part, that was quite the struggle.
The defining moment of, you know what? No, I'm just going to show up, and this is who I am and how I'm going to show up. and everyone else.
Exactly.
That can be so freeing once you say that simple phrase to yourself that screw it. I don't care what they think. I'm going anyway. Or I'm doing it anyway.
A lot of things. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely. It was it was very, very freeing. And for those of you, if you've heard me mention this before, I think most of you kind of know when that moment happened. And it was, my channel, my rules, my boundaries.
That's it. I mean, but
which gave the rest of us permission to say the same in a lot of respects, because most of us have felt like that at one point or another. And when you finally blew up and said it, it was like everybody else was like, yeah, what Marina said, that works here too.
Because, and here's the thing, folks, that is so true, that in a community like this, for instance, this is a little microcosm of the macro. And Marina blazing the trail out in front saying, no, my channel, my rules,
That's right. You want to do it your way, get your own channel.
These are my boundaries here. Okay. And that's it. So it honors you. It honors the respect you have for yourself and your work. And it gives you that authenticity of standing in your own power. There is so much richness in that declaration that you bridge that. It's like blazing a trail that others can follow. You literally make inroads in the energetic field that that's what they call bridges. Here's a bridge to this or a bridge to that.
Yeah. So
it does allow you to follow that. So thank you for sharing that, Marina. And
you're welcome.
I just love that if you talk about what's holding you back, if you get it out, if you say it, if you talk about it, if you unearth it and figure it out, and it can be a multitude of things, you're weakening its reason for being. The more you talk about it like it's a real thing and you just disseminate it and dissect it, pretty soon you're going, well, that doesn't have much power over me.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, all of you out there who are watching this, I love the comments you've been putting in here. Really beautiful.
Oh, yeah. The comments have been great.
So, ADHD. That's a whole blurting things out in the conversation. I love that. I mean, in Marine, the guilt tripping. Yes. Any of those
guilty
things.
With the blurting.
It's really a bunch of these things. So, and I love Karen shared she's a people pleaser, and we, this people pleaser thing. This is a early on for the empaths and the light workers. This is a tough one. We all go through this.
Yes.
But I really had to dig in, and this topic came from me holding myself back. So of course I hold myself back from going further, stretching out and taking it to the next level, because I feel like I've got my hands up, my hands are pillars holding up a concrete platform. The further I go out, the more concrete I got to hold up. But it's not true.
Right.
It's not true. But this is kind of that feeling of responsibility hanging over your head kind of thing. How much can you stretch yourself? But it's a misleading idea. It isn't true. So that's one of my limiting beliefs. But let's examine what all of this is. Because we are human beings coming into this earth school with a whole bunch of setups for what's holding us back.
Really?
So let's talk about them so we can look inside of ourselves and see if there's some more. So there are core limiting beliefs, and these are deeply ingrained, often unconscious, that form in childhood from past trauma. And in Marina's class, any of her classes you might want to go take that delve into this. So I'm not good enough. I don't deserve success, love, or abundance. If I fail, if I try, I'll fail. These are beliefs that become the lens through which we interpret our lives, but they aren't even conscious. They're unconscious. And they're
people will laugh at me.
We don't even realize. Yes. So we unconsciously create circumstances that reinforce it, and we don't even know we're doing it.
Right.
So this is something that's important. And Marina's, she has a couple of classes. One in particular, you really get out of the playing the same record, the same tape over and over. And this is really good to pop you out of that kind of thing. Now, the second thing is fear of failure or success. People don't think that they should be afraid of success, but yes, it really.
A lot of people are.
It's true. And it's the way I showed you mine, holding up concrete. My hands are pillars and I'm holding this big, huge concrete because I built another platform, another layer. Well, it doesn't have to be like that. It can be flat and nobody's holding on to anything. But in my mind, so fear of failure creates paralysis. We don't take the first step because we are afraid it won't work out. Fear of success is less obvious, but equally powerful. We fear responsibility, visibility, or outgrowing our current relationships. Believe it or not, outgrowing your current relationships in your tribe, in all of it, there is a big element of that in the fear, in the success category, because your focus is going on something, building something bigger over here, and it's pulling away from where you were. And there's this, but I don't want to, disrupt what I've got, or what, because it's what you have. So there's a lot of that in it. And so imposter syndrome is number 3, of course, up front and personal.
Yep.
Yes.
Despite skill or spiritual gifts, one may doubt their own worthiness to share, lead, or be seen. Who am I to teach this? Others are more advanced. This is the mind script that might be playing behind the scenes that hold us back. It's common among the spiritually aware women who are awakened, not men, women.
Yeah.
Who are.
That was me, Val, when I started my channel.
Yes.
I can't do this. I'll just interview people who do this.
And oh my God, you're the pro at it. That's the funniest thing in the world to those outside looking at you.
But it was a way of going, oh, phew, I don't have to hold myself out there to be this type of person and then fail. So I can do this.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. That is so beautiful.
Yep.
That's a beautiful example, Aley. And so, it's common among spiritual women who are awakening their gifts, a sacred wound of the divine feminine, reemerging for healing. So men don't sit around and go and feel all those things. Only as women, imposter syndrome, it's not a man's thing. They're all like, I'm doing my thing.
And that's because we grew up being told that we weren't good enough. We weren't the man. We weren't good enough. It's not for us to do.
Yeah.
The man's supposed to come in and take care of everything and do everything for you. And you're just
and a lot of it is based on
bottle washer. And
right. Is, when we're tuning into people, when we're working, doing things, there is a good element of emotion that comes out. Men are okay with kind of expressing that and not thinking about it, where we have been taught to, be careful what you say, so on and so forth. So we've also been told, too many times that, it's your imagination. Exactly. Oh, you've got such a good imagination. Don't, of course there aren't aliens outside your bedroom.
We're so discounted. We're being
discounted. You don't have a degree in that. You don't have a degree in that. That's what that was my problem.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Or you're overqualified for that
Either
position.
that or you're overqualified.
Instead of just saying you're over 50 and we'd rather hire an 18-year-old at minimum wage.
Right.
Just be honest about it, but they're not going to do that.
Though.
So,
yeah.
But they'd hire a man that's this age.
Right. They'd hire a man at the same time, thinking we're getting experience and knowledge and he'll know what to do and how to do it. But we're overqualified.
It's the divine feminine wounding, and it's all of these things that we're all talking about.
And we do love you, men.
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
We've had many past lives as being men, so we've all done all that. So it's not about that. It's this experience today in bringing in the divine feminine again in the world and talking about that and letting go of that wounding. So that leads us to number 4, perfectionism and control. So a form of self-protection is if I can't do it perfectly, I won't do it at all.
Yes.
Or the need to control outcomes and prevent surrender to the unknown, which is the part where magic and alignment often live. So if you're a perfectionist, it really ties your hands where, who would jump if you can't just get on YouTube and do a show when you've never done one, and then you watch yourself back the first time, you go, oh, I can't. Oh, don't make me.
My voice is hurt. Oh, look at my hair.
I know a person
Yes.
who for a year or for half a year did tape after tape after tape to see if they could get their first show on.
Wow.
That is when you're being a perfectionist.
Yes.
Because here's the thing. Your community loves you to be authentic and be real and be in the moment and make all the mistakes you want because they want to relate to you like you're a human being. Yeah,
right.
I'm just a person. Don't put me on a pedestal. So
thank you.
We put ourselves through all that perfectionism and control for nothing.
For nothing.
For nothing. So let me say this again. The need to control outcomes can prevent surrender to the unknown, which is where the magic and alignment often lives. When you just go live and let it rip.
That's right. That's right.
I was emailed by another reader last weekend who said, do you teach tarot classes? I've got someone looking to take a tarot class. And I'm like, no, I don't teach classes. I've thought about it, but I just haven't taken that step. And then after the conversation was over and I started thinking about it, and I thought, well, why don't I teach classes?
You should have said,
and it was because I felt inadequate. It was like there's far too many people who know more than I do about this. That would be better, but
this isn't even the first time you've been asked. So
no, it's not.
Listen to me, everyone in the audience. It is the universe saying to you, Shari, start your tarot class. Shari, start your tarot class. Just like when Aley came to me and said, Val, can you teach the Akashic Records? I want my people to. It's the universe.
Well, and when you have a big time heavy hitter reader that's been doing this longer than most of us, who comes to you out of the blue and says, do you teach tarot class? I have someone that wants to take a tarot class. I'm like, no, but
no. Say yes, and then design the class real quick. That's what I do.
Exactly.
That's what I should have done. But it's like ever since that happened, it's been on my mind nonstop every day. It was like,
and you know why it's on your
mind?
Yes,
I'm supposed to teach a class, and I don't know how to approach it, but I'll figure it out. You
don't have to approach it.
Then the perfection steps in and says,
Zoom,
you have to do it just right.
You get the class set up on Zoom. You take the people's money for the class, and then you get on the first class with everyone, and you say, these are the major arcana. We'll start with card 1. And you go from there. Don't outline it. Just get on there and do it. It's your first test.
And that's my fear of failure. I haven't been able to take that step yet. But this past week, it's really been after me, and then you threw this question at us, what's holding you back? And I'm like, I don't want to talk about that.
you have no problem speaking.
No,
So
I have problems shutting up.
There won't be any silent moments in your class.
No.
You can't fail. You're giving information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And anyway, you're only giving beginner information. You're not expected to know everything at this juncture.
Exactly.
Yeah. And from that first class, you will refine it after, and you'll develop it even more. So you step in with both feet and say, okay, Spirit, you want me to do this? Let's rip.
Yeah, really.
Right?
I just got to take that step.
It's another thing that Shari can't say no to, which is another thing that makes her not move forward. See, there could be that pulling at her as well.
Yeah.
Oh my God, when am I going to find time to do that?
Thank you. That's another thing.
True.
Yeah.
There is no doubt Shari is overbooked.
Yes.
I have been
You're right,
training myself back. So
Okay.
yeah,
it's all a learning moment. There are no failures.
Yeah.
No,
Only learning experiences.
That's why I say go for the class now. So you go, why, yes, I have a tarot class. It's funny you should mention that. I was just about to post the link where you can channeling class. Why, yes, I have a channeling class.
So if y'all all start getting an email in another week or two saying Shari's teaching a tarot class, you'll know what got me going.
There you go.
My lovely sisters are all like, okay, and how long are you going to wait?
Yeah.
There is no failure.
No.
So
Exactly.
there you go.
No.
So
You'll never know until you try. And even if you go out there and you try and you don't succeed the first time, guess what? You have just discovered one of the ways not to do it again.
That's
You'll
right.
always have.
And the thing of it is when I was asked, I gave all
Exactly.
three of your names as possibilities. Oh, well, I know this person does, and this person does, and you should contact, da 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 da. And I listed all three of you in the process. And so,
But you know what? This is the thing. If the universe is saying to you, if they're people are
then you
coming
do
before
it.
you asking, that is the universe
Yes.
nudging you forward. That is the message. And you know that, Shari.
Yeah, I know it. I just taking that step to do it. That's
So there you are.
Beautiful.
Where's our next tarot class? So the perfectionism and control is also a form of protection, like we talked about. But don't forget about the magic when you just let go. Then number 5 is fear of judgment. We're almost done. There aren't that many. Fear of judgment or rejection. We silence ourselves to avoid triggers. Others or triggering others. We silence ourselves to avoid triggering others because we're good little girls, aren't we?
Yeah.
So,
well, we pretend
to be, we silence ourselves to avoid triggering others or being too much. Like, oh, wow, really? Did she have to say all that? Did we have to hear her? Whatever. No, you be how you want to be, folks. You show up how you want to show up. And if it comes from your heart, say it. So the need to
if they don't like you, then that's their problem because not everybody's going to like you. Yeah.
This,
right.
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah. I'm not for everyone. I know that. I'm okay with it.
Exactly. I had someone say to me a couple of years back, well, there's already so many readers. I mean, I don't know why I would even attempt to do a channel. And I was like, you know what? Your voice may be the only voice that someone out there hears because none of the rest of us resonate with them.
Exactly.
And even if that's the only person that resonates with you, you reach one person.
You're touching somebody's life. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And this can trace back to wounds of being shamed, ridiculed, or misunderstood in childhood, school, or even past lives as a healer, mystic, or seer. That fear of judgment or rejection.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah. So don't silence yourself for that fear of rejection or judgment. Because this is just a real nefarious thing for the healers, readers, seers in our community, especially.
Look what Dawn Turner says. She put it in all caps. That's great. That's an excellent.
Yes.
I'm going
I
down.
just wouldn't want them to know that I lost my marbles. That's all.
Yeah.
From now on, if they
Or
can't
never had any marbles to begin with, you know.
on, from now on, if they can't handle the size of my crown, they can walk away, and I will go play with my marbles somewhere else. That's right. Exactly. So that is standing in your sovereign power, being the divine feminine that you are. And this is what we're calling forth right now, is that power of being authentic and being yourself and not making excuses for how you show up. This is how you are. There are plenty of people out there who love the essence of you showing up just as your soul self.
Yeah.
That is very true. Like Shari said, people are out there and need to hear your voice.
That's how the slumber party got started. I just a couple of weekends in a row, I just did it because I was bored and didn't have anything to do on a Saturday night. Next thing I knew, it was like, okay, we got to do this every week. Okay, well, y'all got to name it. And then here we go. It's been almost a year now we've been doing it. And it's,
oh my gosh,
it's a blast.
Yes.
Yeah.
So these things are all organic and start that way. And I love that example of the organic nature of something starting and being propelled. So the next thing is trauma responses, the fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. FAWN. I don't know. Let's see what that means. Freeze keeps us stuck in inaction. Fawn leads us to people pleasing.
Yes, that's fawning over somebody.
Fawning over somebody. Abandoning.
Oh, they spoke to me. She's so wonderful. That kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay. So fawning leads us to people pleasing, abandoning our own path because we're over there fangirling.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then nervous system dysregulation makes us believe danger is present even when it's just a new step forward. So you get that cortisol feeling of anxiety, fear, and intense when it's just simply a new step forward.
Yes.
But your body doesn't know any better. It reacts like it's terrified. Like
what really surprised me was some of my colleagues teach communications, public speaking, and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And when I used to be working in the office with them, every beginning of every new term, oh my God, I gotta go to class. Oh. And I'd say, what? And it's the first class is always it's so awful. And I said, just go in there and have some fun. But for communications people,
They must have a lot of perfectionism shit.
They must have that.
When you're at the university level, you run into that a lot. I mean, I got PhDs that have panic attacks because of
my God.
because their English isn't good enough, or this or that or the other. You know, it's like just do what you do. Don't worry about it.
Get off the perfectionism wagon because that thing is a big red herring. Who cares if you're perfect or not? So that's the trauma response.
Yes.
Fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. So I didn't know fawn was a trauma response.
Yeah, I guess
it can be. Think about it.
Yes.
Because you're absolving yourself of any responsibility.
Well, that's what the GOP is doing to him.
Exactly.
They over him.
Exactly.
And they don't say what they want to say because it's all about the great leader.
That's it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It's abdicating your responsibility and giving it to someone else.
Yep.
Yeah. Interesting. So we only have two more. And one is attachment to identity. We often get attached to an outdated version of ourselves, like men when they leave their employment for the last time in retirement, e.g. the wounded one, the caretaker, the seeker, and fear who we will become without that familiar role.
Yes, absolutely.
True growth requires the death of ego death, letting go of the identity that we once have clung to. And so when you're like I talked about men aren't like women. Women don't put their full identity in work because normally they have a whole family that they're identifying with and for.
It's just one of the balls we juggle.
Over. Yeah, we have a million balls in the air, but a man, I'm sorry, guys, but
we have more balls than men. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, we do. Most times we do. And they're usually bigger and stronger.
You know, men of today, the younger men probably aren't this way anymore.
No, they aren't.
No, they aren't.
Generation I'm talking about, where your identity is fully tied to what you do for a living, and when you retire, who am I? Who am I? You have to find who you have to find. Yes, you have to actually reinvent yourself and become something else because you don't know who you are.
You don't.
I did that after my husband died, and I left my home. I went 4 states away where I didn't know anybody, never been there, didn't have a job, nothing, because I was like, I went from being someone's wife to someone's daughter to someone's wife to someone's mother. Who the hell am I?
Shari. Yeah.
Right. It's like I didn't know who I was, and I had to run away from home to figure it out, you know, and then
and we talked about that in another show about why would Shari have to leave? Because when people are around you showing you who they think you are 24/7, you can't
get me in the box.
You are in
the box.
Yeah. Yes, you have to move to get out of that box and see yourself in a fresh new way, your authentic way. And so Shari expanded herself and was able to do that.
Didn't have to worry.
At the time, it felt like desperation, but you know.
Yeah, but I mean,
I literally felt like if I don't run away and get away from these people, I'm gonna just implode. You know,
and don't forget, as women, we spend a good portion of our lives as being the slash person. Well, I work in sales / I'm a mom.
Exactly.
/ something else. So we're used to doing
multi-identity.
At the same time.
Yeah.
So it's not, it doesn't affect us as much when we retire. It's more like, whew, okay, that's over with. But men very much, they're used to introducing themselves and communicating with each other.
What do you do for work? People ask them every 5 minutes. Yeah, that's a big deal thing.
What do you do? Well,
what do you do?
And women tend to be, oh, well, I'm Sharon's daughter, or I'm Carl's wife, or I'm Lewis's mom. Yeah, I mean,
we didn't have a
name. Right.
I remember
someone else's support.
I remember having this student in my class, and he was an older gentleman from African country. And I was talking to him about that very thing, about men and how they ask. And I said, what would you say then? Because he said, people don't know what I do for work, and they never ask me. And I said, well, what if somebody did? He says, why do you want to know? The way he said it was so funny. And I thought, really? Why do we want to know? What difference does it make?
Yeah.
What difference does it make? It doesn't make any difference, and it's not our identity. Let's face it. It's the same thing that I came to when I was looking at my website and I was revising what I said about myself in my little bio. And I really hesitate to string a bunch of things together to label myself because I am expanding and ever changing and growing and doing new things all the time. I don't want this, and this, and this to be, oh, that's what she is, or that's how she, it's just like a tarot card reader. They don't think, oh, she's a psychic medium. She's a, whatever you want to say, multidimensional channel. She's a blah, blah, blah. You think, oh, she's just a tarot card reader. Because you're all channels.
Are you a fortune teller?
Yeah. It's like a label is a nefarious thing.
It is.
It really is. So you don't want to box yourself in with some of that.
Something my mother told me back when I first kind of went into the workforce. And she says, most people are going to go out of their way to try to hobnob with the boss, with the big dogs. So they get noticed. She says, however, she says, I've discovered over my many years that the first people you make friends with are the maintenance crew and the cleaning crew.
Yes.
And in that way, when there's an accident or something breaks, you pick up the phone and you say, hey, John, I got an issue over here. Can you give me a hand? And they'll come look at it.
And for me, you made friends with the IT group. You made friends with the people who came and messed with your computer and all of that. You know who you need to make friends with.
That's right.
Because they're the people who keep you supported. You know, and the mailroom guy, all of those people, you know them.
You get to know the support people, and then you get to be friends with them. And then when something happens, it's just a matter of you pick up the phone and you say, hey, Joe, I need you to come do blah, blah, blah. And then the boss is sitting back thinking, well, how the hell did you get that done so quick? Well,
right. So
I'm good like that, you know.
Exactly. So attachment to identity.
Yeah.
That's one of those things you have to watch. In a lot of different ways, even women. So the last two things are there's lack of self-trust, just self-trust, lack of self-trust. We may receive intuitive nudges, but second guess them. Like this nudge to go start a YouTube channel. If I would have gone up here and said, well, what do I want to start a YouTube channel for? But I didn't. I got that soul urge from my heart and I went and did it.
Yes.
So if I hadn't done that, and believe me, there's a lot of things I second guess and don't do. So we may receive intuitive nudges, but second guess them due to past decisions or that didn't go as planned. But that wasn't my thing. That was, oh, do I have to even do it? What am I even doing this for? Is my thing, because probably it goes back to the responsibility of another layer of your platform going out there.
Yeah,
I think mine always go back to that main point. So
I agree.
Without self-trust, we wait for external validation instead of embodying our own truth. This is a killer, folks. External validation. You have that. If you have a need for external validation, examine that and pull it back in, rein it in. And even I, doing readings for people, have to rein myself back in and say, because I may do a reading for someone and they're all like, oh, this shifted me. This is the best thing ever. Oh my gosh, it changed my life, blah, blah, blah. And then you'll read for another person.
Yes.
Nothing, no facial.
Right.
It's like nothing.
Yeah. And
you think nothing happened. You think nothing happened.
Right. Yeah.
And so you have to rein in your expectations of getting any kind of satisfaction in that way. You have to just be the conduit and say, I'm doing my divine source job that I am meant to be doing, because that's a slippery slope, folks. That's
what helped me a little bit with that was about 6 months ago or so, I had switched insurance companies, and the young man that I had spoke with, he was learning and training. And so a couple of weeks later, his boss came by to make sure I didn't have questions or any problems or anything. And so as we're just standing there talking on the patio, and he says, do you have any hobbies? What are some things you do? I said, I have a YouTube channel. And I started talking about what I did. And he kind of backed up. He says, that's not a hobby. He says, that's a passion. He said, you lit up like a Christmas tree the minute I opened that door for you to speak. He said, I could see it. You just bloomed. I went, oh, okay. I wasn't aware I did that. Then I thought about it. I thought, that's what I'm passionate about.
Being mirrored, that it's more than what you think it is. It's an outlet for your self-expression. It's an outlet for your information to share with others. Can we
just also say that I think one of those things on that list should be expectations, because I have a problem, and I have to stop myself, because I'll say to somebody, oh, can you do this for me? Or I don't have any time. I just don't have any time to do that. And I think to myself, make this fucking time. Excuse my French.
It is true. So
yeah,
so for instance, when we're waiting for that external validation, that's an expectation that we had. So it can be the expectation of seeing somebody else do something for you. It can be an expectation of your husband going to the grocery store for you, whatever that is.
Any expectation.
And any expectation whatsoever can lead to unhappiness and disappointment. So as a Buddhic philosophy, don't have expectations.
Right, absolutely.
Let the energy flow how it flows and be grateful for it, the way it flows.
Totally.
This is the way to be in flow with the universe. And the final one, before we wrap this up, is unconscious loyalty to family or lineage.
Oh.
A psychological phenomenon where we resist surpassing the success, joy, or healing our parents or ancestors achieved, as if doing so would betray them.
Oh,
you get that down here all the time. Well, my daddy was a Republican. My granddaddy was a Republican. My great granddaddy was a, it's like, okay, but they're not doing anything for you. Why are you voting for them?
Yeah.
And that's what they fall back on.
I never heard that. You just gave a very beautiful example of that. I love that, Shari. Thank you.
All the time down here.
Because they have fixed mindset. They don't have growth mindset.
It's
So
depressing.
So the last little bullet point of this is especially powerful for star seeds and healers, breaking generational cycles. So recognizing that unconscious loyalty to family or lineage. And you hear it in our community all the time, and lots of shows on breaking that cycle, breaking in that whole thing. And Terry Suzuki works a lot in that ancestral lineage. Everyone.
And let me brag on Val for just a minute. If you need cord cutting and things from past lives or just from your own past, that you need to face and get out of your life, hands down, Val's done it for me. We did a reading.
Thank you.
I'm telling you, you can't do better, because she was able to pick up and pinpoint on things that I probably hadn't thought about in 40 years. I mean, just like, oh crap, I'm still hauling that around.
Yes.
Thank you, Shari. It's really good for exploring those things that stay with you in this lifetime. But Anya says, that is still an issue for me, Val. I was taught not to trust myself. The male figure always knew better and had the power. And there are different countries who have actually culturally more inclined to always raise their daughters to follow the male figure. Here it's loosened up, but we still have that kind of male-dominated thing. But so let's face it.
Done. Thanks for being here.
So thank you everyone for joining us. And this was a fun discussion to talk about.
It was,
explore the areas that we can be holding ourselves back with if we haven't. I can trace mine back now just talking about some of it here.
Exactly. And when you realize where it came from, you'll be surprised how often it didn't come from you. It came from something that you were told, something that you overheard, something that someone else said about you, and you took it on as being yours. You made it yours. Well, if you can take it, you can give it back.
You certainly can.
And that's to bring that point up. We will believe and hold on to negative things said to us and let go of the positive instead of the other way around.
Exactly. Well, everyone, oh my gosh, thank you, co-host. You all were so beautiful.
This was fun.
This was fun. It was good to talk about it and get it out. Everyone in the
and I love what the chat was saying. I was
engaged. So thank you all for being here for this. And it's really good for for me because I got to examine a lot. I know it's good for all of us to talk about.
Whatever it is we're talking about is just as important for us as it is for anybody else.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Totally.
And we're in a position where people come to us for answers or for help.
Yeah.
And how are we going to give them an answer or give them help if we're so effed up we can't get through the door ourselves? I mean,
You speak for yourself,
you know,
lady.
Ain't nothing wrong with me. I said.
I mean, okay, so
Yeah.
with that
Thank
said,
you. Thank you. Thank you.
everyone, thank you for being with us.
Thanks,
And
everybody.
next week it will be on. Is it Aley? Is it on
Aley,
yeah.
Aley's channel?
It'll be on my
next
channel.
week?
Yep.
Absolutely, Alice, Heart and Soul Connected. And Aley, thank you for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It was a wonderful show. Do you have anything to say in the last few minutes of what you want to people to know about your channel going forward?
If anybody wants to send me the winning lottery ticket numbers,
I'm still waiting for those myself.
heartandsoulconnected@gmail.com.
Or if you got a couple of mil in your back pocket, you just want to share, send it on over. I can use it.
And Shari, is there anything you want to share about your channel coming up?
Growing, learning, doing some new stuff. We'll see what happens next.
Good.
Looks like I got to get ready for a tarot.
You know, sure does. Sure does. And the Marina, what's going on your channel?
You know what? Best thing to do if you want to know what's going on my channel is to go to the main page of the YouTube Heart Center Tarot.
Yeah.
Go to the posts section and scroll down because I post my schedule and let everyone know
every Sunday night.
Every day.
I do the same.
Where I am, who I'm going to be with, are they on my channel? Am I on their channel? And so on. So yeah, it's all there for you. I will say that this Saturday at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, the amazing Trish James is going to be joining me again, as will Val. And this time we might get into some on not personal reads, but we'll get into some reads. So yeah, check that out.
That'll be a lot of fun.
Yes, and there's a very good possibility a special guest will be joining us.
Oh, that'll be exciting. So
I didn't hear a word of what you said, Marina. I'll have to go back and re-listen because the dog was going nonstop the whole time.
So everyone, thank you so much for being here, and we'll be on Aley's channel next week. Heart and Soul Connected. We'll see you then. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.